First off, I want to say shalom, salam, assalamu alaikum, hotep, black power, whatever's your favorite. The Nation, Akamjata, and Kamelahi. I've been with Knox and Queens, I'm feeling it in it. Yes, I pray, I believe in the truth and the planting of these seeds. Yeah, yes, I pray, I believe in the impossible things that's unseen. Yeah, yes, I pray, I believe. Shalom, kulam. This is BYSA. This is UZZIYAHU Ben Yehuda, aka UZZIYAHU HaMelech. And this is part 8. This is the 8 sets of scriptures for the times of the Gentiles, the white supremacy. This is part 8. I purposely waited for part 8 because I wanted to establish the foundation from parts 1 through 7. And then part 8 is like the icing on the cake. All right, let's just get right to it, okay? Now, the 8 set of scriptures, we're going to go over Deuteronomy 28, 58 through 68. Okay. All right. The 8th set of scriptures is Deuteronomy 28, 58, 68. Moses speaking of the worldwide captivity and treatment of BYSA, B'nai Israel, 12 tribes of Israel, black people, FBA. I hope this revelation opens up our eyes and for us to understand the times we're in. This is what my eyes were open to as I entered this journey of me turning 43. For the record, I purposely waited to go into part 8, Deuteronomy 28, because I wanted to establish a foundation, not based upon Deuteronomy 28 and Moses, but establish a foundation of YAHOSHUA, the Messiah, the last prophet in Luke 21, 20 through 24. I wanted the 7 sets of scriptures to establish this point of times of the Gentiles, white supremacy. As we see what just has recently happened, we see how racism is economic, right? The times of the Gentiles, white supremacy, and white supremacy is satanic and demonic. Those are the things, that I'm letting it be known. Then when we present Deuteronomy 28, it actually holds more weight and value, coupled with Luke 21, 20 through 24, and Joel 3:6. Leaving little room for the apologists and those that defend whitewashing and white supremacy, denying the fact that this fits BYSA, FBA. If not us, then who does it fit? Right? This is the time of repentance for our sins and the sins of our forefathers, for BYSA rejecting YHWH, for the nations rejecting YHWH and persecuting BYSA, black people under the times of the Gentiles, white supremacy. But there is hope. YHWH has offered salvation through his son, YAHOSHUA HaMashiach, to all nations. But you have to be humble, repent, and be engrafted into BYSA and leave and denounce your white supremacist ways and spirit. You need to be like Isaiah 56, 1 through 8, and Revelation 7, 9, and stop being anti-Shemitic or anti-black, but blessing the BYSA nation, the children of Elohim. Let's get started, y'all. So, we're going over Deuteronomy 28, 58 through 68. We're going to break this down into 2 parts, and I have some visuals to go with it. And then I have another section that's called Tosh, the Transatlantic Slave Holocaust Scriptures in Deuteronomy 28. Let's get it. All right, part A. Deuteronomy 28, 58 through 63. If you do not guard to do all the words of this Torah that are written in this book, to fear this esteemed and awesome name, YHWH, your Elohim, right? Deuteronomy 28, 59. Then YHWH shall bring upon you and your descendants extraordinary plagues, great and lasting plagues, and grievous and lasting sicknesses. That's what we're dealing with, y'all, right? And he shall bring back on you all the diseases of Mizraim of which you are afraid, and they shall cling to you. Deuteronomy 28, 61. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in this book of this Torah, YHWH does bring upon you until you are destroyed. And you shall be left with few men, although you have become as numerous as the stars of the heavens, because you did not obey the voice of YHWH your Elohim. 63. And it shall be that as Yahweh rejoiced over you to do you good and increase you, so Yahweh does rejoice over you to destroy you and lay you waste, and you shall be plucked from off the land which you go to possess. Now that's deep, right? You know what's deep? What's deep is this. A lot of people are trying to figure out why all these things are happening, right? Why is the Creator quiet? It's because of our sin and our disobedience. See, because of the quietness and because of the stuff that's been going on, we're not taking accountability. You know, our people have a hard time taking accountability. Men have a hard time taking accountability. Women have a hard time taking accountability. Children have a hard time taking accountability. So, and with our rebelliousness and stubbornness, we have a hard time taking accountability. So we think we're the victims, but we're doing some of these things. We have to focus between us and our relationship with the Most High, with Yahweh Elohim. We cannot have no white supremacists or no Gentile intercessors. You know what I'm saying? We cannot. But let's look at something here. Now, check this out. Deuteronomy 28:60, he shall bring back on you all the diseases of Mitzrayim, of Egypt, of Kemet, of which you are afraid, and they shall cling to you. Now, crazy thing, right? Diabetes. 1500 BC, Egypt, Kemet. Diabetes is one of the world's oldest disease, dating back to Egypt in 1500 BC. They call it the honey urine disease. Ants were attracted to the sweet urine of the people that had the disease. And you see on the left, and you can research these things too. There's a chart, diabetes research timeline, where it's going back to 1500 BC, right? And so diabetes was a disease back in ancient Egypt, right? Now remember, we was freed in Egypt in 1446 BCE. So this disease is a major disease that's with BYSA FBA that we deal with today in 2025. But then that also means, since we were in Kemet and we came out, and we received the Torah in 1446 BCE during Passover, which is it's the season, right? I just want y'all to think of that. If it's not us, then who is it? If it's not, I'm going to tell everybody, because you have a lot of, of course, Gentiles, they're for white power, white supremacy, whitewashing and everything, right? But then you have Africans, you have African Americans, you have Black people, people of color. You got all of us worshiping and, idolizing Gentiles. So we're making talking points so we can be accepted. If not us, then who is it? And you can't give us the white supremacy, whitewashing narrative. You're going to have to show and prove. Here, Deuteronomy 28:62. And you shall be left with few men, although you have become as numerous as the stars of the heavens, because you did not obey the voice of Yahweh, your Elohim. Right? Okay, Deuteronomy 28:63, and it shall be that as Yahweh rejoiced over you to do you good and increase you, so Yahweh does rejoice over you to destroy you, and lay you waste. You shall be plucked from off the land which you go to possess. So right here, I want y'all to see that this is 722 BCE, Assyria, right? The Assyrian captivity. All right. It says the siege of Lachish, Yehuda, Judah, Judean Jews captive. So this is how it looks when we was captive, even back in 722. Now, in 722, we had different captivities and things in that nature. But 722, that's when the 10 tribes, Israel, the 10 tribes to the north, because Israel was split. It was 12 tribes. It was split into two kingdoms, 10 tribes to the north, 2 tribes to the south. And so the Assyrians took the 10 tribes to the north, took them, exiled them. And, that's why they called the lost tribes of Israel, because they were taken out and most of them did not come back. And then, we had Babylonian captivity, I think in 586. And then eventually in 70 AD was kind of Yehuda left, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, that was considered Yehuda, the Judah, kingdom of Judah, Judah, whatever, Judea. And so we were officially exiled out of the land in 70 AD, and that became the complete emptying of the 12 tribes of Israel. But I just want to show you the Negroid features of, this is supposed to be the Judas, the Jews, Yehuda, Judea. All right, now we're going to go into part B, verses 64 through 68. All right, so 64, Deuteronomy 28, 64. And YHWH shall scatter you among all peoples, from one end of the earth to the other. And there you shall serve other gods, other mighty ones, which neither you nor your fathers have known, wood and stone. All right, and it says, and among those nations you are to find no rest, nor have a resting place for the sole of your foot. But there YHWH shall give you a trembling heart and failing eyes and sorrow of being. And your life shall be hanging in suspense before you, and you shall fear day and night, and not be certain of your life. In the morning you say, oh, that it were evening. And in the evening you say, oh, that it were morning, because of the fear of your heart with which you fear, and because of the sight which your eyes see. 68. And YHWH shall bring you back to Mitzrayim, or to came into Egypt in ships, by a way in which I said to you, you are never to see it again. And there you shall be sold to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one to buy you, no one to redeem you. Right? Now, I'm going to tell y'all something. When y'all read these scriptures, because Yah, he's the Elohim of order, the order is man is the head. So when you read these scriptures, the first audience, yes, it's for all of us, but you got to view at all the men. When you're reading it, he's talking to you. He's talking to us, right? We're in this curses. We are the prime. We're catching double, triple. Sometimes our women may not, they might feel the curses, but, they can like enjoy themselves in the curses, and the children can enjoy themselves in the curses, where it could be, the women and children versus the men, where they're separating themselves from the man, but then the man is getting the whole capacity of the curses. You know what I'm saying? As we see in the land of captivity, there's a problem when you are a black father or a BYSA father, FBA father, trying to speak confidence and life into your sons and positivity. That's a problem. Well, if we on some Negro stuff, or we on some illegal stuff, or some scamming stuff, or we selling death to our community, womanizers, all this type of crazy stuff, remember, we wanted Barnabas instead of the Messiah. And Barnabas was supposed to be known the killer. So we always want the killers, the thugs, the pimps, all that. Moreover, a man that's righteous, because we believe, and our women believe, that that's lame. You see what I'm saying? Let's get into it, though. Look at this. 1619 AD, United States, the male and female slaves being sold at auctions by the Gentiles. You see it? Negroes for sale at auction this day at 1 o'clock. If not us, then who is it? Deuteronomy 28:64, and YHWH shall scatter you among all peoples, from one end of the earth to the other. And there you shall serve other mighty ones, which neither you nor your fathers have known, wood and stone. Deuteronomy 28:68, and YHWH shall bring you back to Egypt in ships, by a way of which I said to you, you are never to see it again. And there you shall be sold to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one to buy you. Of course, we're not in physical Egypt. We're in a place of bondage. It's just crazy that on the back of the dollar, you see the pyramid. It's crazy that the Washington Monument resembles an Egyptian obelisk. It's crazy that the mall it's supposed to resemble the Nile. It's crazy that in Washington, D.C., that President Lincoln supposed to kind of resemble a pharaoh. I'm just saying. We were brought in ships. I'm just saying. We were brought in physical slave ships. On the back of the dollar, you have the Egyptian pyramid, all seeing eye. But then you do have some structures and replicas that's symbolizing Egypt. That's all I'm saying. And it's so crazy, right? 1619 AD, BYSA, FBA, black slaves with the name of YHWH, Psalm 68:4, and the transatlantic slave holocaust as written in Deuteronomy 28:68, right? We were sold, but we also, if you look at the slave manifest, some of the slave names had Yah in it. Like hallelujah means praise Yah, Zephaniah, Isaiah, Jeremiah. We have Akaya, Adaya, Ademaya. Come on, y'all. But hey, I guess it's just a coincidence, right? Now, here is what I call the Tosh, the transatlantic slave holocaust, not just the slave trade, the Holocaust, the transatlantic slave holocaust, Tosh, BYSA, Tosh, B'nai Israel, Shemitic African, transatlantic slave holocaust. BYSA, Tosh, Deuteronomy 28 is going to be verses spanning from 30 to 49. And I got some visuals. If not us, then who is it? Now, here, Deuteronomy 28:30. You become engaged to a wife, but another man does lie with her. The raping of our BYSA women here in America, USA, and the transatlantic slave holocaust. Deuteronomy 28. You build a house, but do not dwell in it. We BYSA built America, and we built the White House and the U.S. Capitol. You see that? We built it. We built this city. BYSA built this city. FBA built these cities. Just like in Egypt. We built stuff here. We built it. We built the city on rock and roll. We built rock and roll. We built, we made all the music genres here too. Come on, y'all. You plant a vineyard, but do not use its fruit. We BYSA worked in fields from sun up to sundown. We planted cotton, tobacco, and sugarcane in the Americas, South America, the islands, and North America. Stop playing, y'all. If not us, then who? You're going to have to show and prove that it's not us. And don't give me no white supremacy, whitewashing talking points. And don't bring no white supremacist intercessor to try to come in. Look at the kids. We always talk about kids. Look at the kids. You know, look at the kid. We got kids. So we always talking about, you know, child labor laws. Where was all this stuff at when we were being mistreated? You got kids in the field. You got women in the field. You got elders in the field. Look at this. Deuteronomy 28:32. Your sons and your daughters are given to another people, and your eyes look and fail for them all day long. Your hand powers. Look at this picture. Great bargain sales of Negroes, horses, and cattle, and other property. We was property. It wasn't our body, our choice. It wasn't the BYSA man, BYSA woman, or BYSA child as a family unit. It wasn't our body, our choice. But you see how Satan works? He tries to divide. A house that's divided shall not prosper. But did you know that this division of the family is satanic and also white supremacy? I don't know if y'all know that. You bring forth sons and daughters, but they are not with you, but they go into captivity. You see in this picture how this little baby boy is being slain by his arm, and you see the woman, the mother trying to plead. He's like, no, we don't care about that. I don't know what's going on with the man on the side. I don't know if he's hugging somebody or I don't know. It's just crazy. This is what has happened. They want to erase this history. But you know why you can't erase it? It's in the Bible. In order to erase this history, you're going to have to erase the Bible. And remember, you should not add or take away from any word from this book. If you add any words, we will add plagues. If you take away, your name will be taken away from the book of life. You cannot play. We don't have to work. Look, they're trying to target the museums, the African-American history. This is African-American history. It's already written. So you can do all of that. I can still know what's going on through the scriptures. All right. Here we go. Deuteronomy 28:36. Yahweh brings you and the sovereign, your king, when you set over you to a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known. And there you shall serve other mighty ones, wood and stone. Hey, no offense, but I have to state something. BYSA's position. BYSA, we received the Torah in 1446 BCE. YAHOSHUA came in 33 AD. I mean, he wasn't born, but he gave us a message of prophecy, right? About the temple being destroyed and us being surrounded. The temple in Jerusalem was destroyed 37 years later in 70 AD. And the Brit HaKadoshah, what we call the renewed covenant or the New Testament, right, was completed in 90 AD. So we as BYSA, I don't know about other people's positions, we don't accept any religion, worship, or system before 1446 BCE. We don't accept anything. I don't care if it's the first religion, oldest, whatever. That's going to end up being rebellion because the God, the creator, gave us everything how it's supposed to be and told us to guard it because everybody else went astray. So we don't accept anything before 1446 BCE. And we don't accept anything after 90 AD because we don't accept anything after the last book, after Revelation is done. So this is our cap. Anything before 1446 BCE, we don't deal with that. And we cap it at 90 AD. Anything after 90 AD, we don't accept. We keep it right there. So any new religions, any new things, we reject it. We don't accept it. We don't deal with it. So we don't accept the 3 Abrahamic times of the Gentile, Japheth white religions, which is Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Christianity, 325 AD, Islam, 622 AD, Judaism, 740 AD. We don't accept none of that. We don't accept the cross, the Star of David, the 6-point star, or the crescent moon, and the 5-point star. We don't accept this. Now, if you look at the bottom, BYSA represents the menorah that was taken in 70 AD by the Romans after the temple was destroyed. That's what we deal with. And this is after Messiah. So, yeah. All right, let's keep going. It said wood and stone. Now, worship of the mighty ones, of the gods of wood. BYSA people, FBA, major religion is Christianity. And the theme is the wooden cross. And the white man that they worship on the cross, Caesar Borgia, Jesus Christos, right? Which is not what BYSA have known. Or what our forefathers have known. Not even in 33 AD to 70 AD. That's not what we have known. Right? Black, you see this white man. That's the idol. We don't do that. I'm gonna get into the characters of Hebrew. I'm gonna get into the last Hebrew letter, Taw, which is something totally different. And Taw means 2 cross sticks. But I'm gonna get into that later. Hey, yo, if this is opening up your eyes, if this is doing something to your soul, to your mind, making you question, making you think about some things, press subscribe, like, comment, share. I want to get this up. Let's get it up to 1,000. That's my next milestone. We got it over 500. Let's get up to 1,000. And that's free. That's free to subscribe, free to like, free to comment. All right. Now, worship of the mighty ones, gods of stone. Black people, FBA's second major religion is Islam. And the theme is the black Kaaba stone, black stone. And the white Arab men culture, which is not what BYSA have known. Now, let me go back here. Christianity is based upon a Greco-Roman white man. Islam is based upon white Arab man. Judaism is based upon white Jewish man. We're BYSA, we're B'nai Israel, Shemitic Africans. It's not what we do. That's not what we have known. Excuse me. So you have Deuteronomy 28:37. Thus you shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a mockery among all the peoples to which Yahweh drives you. Look at this. It says, Ernest Hogan. It says, all coons look alike to me. You even have cities called Coon Rapids Boulevard, Coon. Like, that's a racial slur. And you got cities that's named after a racial slur. That person must have really been racist. Like, yeah, Coon Rapids on Coon Boulevard and Room Coon. You know what I'm saying? They was just really going in. But let me tell you something. One thing we have to do, we have to reestablish the confidence in our people. We are not niggas. We are not coons. Look, it says BYSA, we was called nigga, Negro, colored, coon, cushy, which that's Hebrew. So that means nigga in Hebrew. So if you hear a person who speaks Hebrew that's non-melanated that say cushy, they basically saying nigga in Hebrew. We would call slaves, monkeys, and black. Now, this is the thing. When Yah created man, he created all the land animals on the 6th day. So apes and all that stuff was created, right? The primates was created. And then he paused. And then he said, let us make man in our likeness and in our image. So man, the black man, is made in the likeness and image of the God, of the creator, of Yah. You see what I'm saying? So that's why evolution and all that stuff is white supremacy, is racist and demonic. I mean, we got confidence. We ain't worried about that. We're not worried about that. So you get karma. Now, you still going to pay for talking crazy, but I'm not, because when you know who you are and you know your identity, you're like, man, that seems very immature. It seems very immature. You know what I'm saying? Now, look, every race has a flag but the coon. This was actually on, I think this was like on the top 100 back in the day. You see what I'm saying? Where this song, they say every race has a flag but the coon. So you know what that sparked? That sparked Marcus Garvey to create a flag for us, the red, black, and green. Now, BYSA, we have two flags for our BYSA nation. We have two flags. We have the red, black, and green flag with the BYSA seal on it, where we have the Shema, right? And then we have the menorah on a red, black, and green flag. But we also have the red, purple, and blue, our ancient color flag with white and gold, right? We have that on there. So these are the two flags that we have. And we also have flags that we have for our African allies. Because remember, our people were scattered to all the nations. So you might have Hebrews in Ethiopia. You might have some of us in Eritrea. You know what I'm saying? You might have some of us in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Liberia, in South Africa, in Congo, in Uganda. You know what I'm saying? And in these different places. So we want to so BYSA is not just it's being founded by us, and we're starting with us with America, because remember, Yehuda is the gatherer of the nations, but we're also trying to gather our other 11 brothers. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a Judah Yehuda thing. It's a Bnei Israel, the children of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel thing, and all the places where we were gathered, right? And then also we have something for our allies who may be Hamitic, Shemitic, and Japhethic. But we're going to get to all that later. All right. Marcus Garvey says, show me the race or nation without a flag, and I will show you a race of people without any pride. Negro World Newspaper, March 19th, 1929. All right, let's keep going. Now, we was called slaves, right? They have runaway slave patrol. You have it in the plantation of South Carolina, and you had it in Atlanta, right? And it looks just like the regular, deputy sheriff, the regular police force, right? Because back in the day, you had slaves and you have slave patrol, slave catchers. Today, we're called black. We was called color and black, and then now it's turned into police. But see, the reason when black people show up to something, they have dogs, they have all this stuff to get violent with us, even if we're peaceful. Because remember, the theme is slave patrol, slave catchers, to put something upon them, to put pain upon them. If there was a protest with mostly white people or Africans that they may like, or Hispanic community or Indian or something like that, they won't have all that. They might not even show up. But if you have us mixed in, it could be 10 of us in the crowd. They'll split the crowd and come at us. I just want you to see that. Look, waiting room for coloring only by police order. So some of this stuff was established in law to get at us, to be a racist force against us. Niggerhead tobacco. Remember, it says, thus you shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a mockery among all the peoples to which YHWH drives you. They call us apes. They call us monkeys. They call us coon. They call us niggas. They call us all these words. And even they call us stuff in this, you know, because some people, you can have black people, you can have African, you can have different, as they say, people of color that can have white supremacy in their brain, or they want to be accepted by white supremacy, which is satanic and demonic, and they'll join forces to get at us too. But it says to which YHWH, Yah for sure drives you. Look at the bottom. This is crazy, right? So we're being mocked, and I know that, you know, I don't know if this is German, I don't know what language this is, but the fact that they have Yah there, they don't know what they're doing, but you can see the fingerprint. Yah said, thus you shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a mockery among all the peoples to which YHWH drives you. And it's just, they didn't know what they were saying, but we know that Yah stated this in the Torah, that this was going to happen to us. Who is it happening to? It's happening to the so-called FBA. But this was written back in 1446 BCE, that this was going to happen to us, which is BYSA, B'nai Israel Shemitic African. That's us. And we see the fingerprint right there. That's just so prophetic. It might not do nothing to y'all, like, oh, brother, you're reaching. But for those who have eyes to see, see. For those who have ears to hear, hear. And those who have understanding, that's deep, y'all. Yeah. Nigger. Don't you wish, nigger, don't you wish you were white? You see the satanic, you see this hate? Who knows who their children or grandchildren are today? We could be living by them. We could be talking to them. But they can be in positions of power, and they can still secretly be dealing with what their parents have done. You see what I'm saying? They can be leaders. But it's prophesied. Look at the minstrel show when they were having blackface and red lips and all this stuff. Mockery. Who else is this happening to? You can't play no more. Who else is this happening to? You're gonna have a hard time trying to make it seem like it's not us. So pay attention to white people, to pay attention to black people, Africans. Pay attention to people who try to say, "Oh man, you're reaching." We already established it between sets 1 through 7. This is the icing on the cake. I'm showing you visuals. Look at this. Little African licorice drops, a dainty morsel. They're playing on the death of little black babies, especially baby boys. Abortion, death. See, we're okay. Somehow we're okay with death. And we're okay with black men dying and black boys dying. For some reason, because we have split, because the house is divided, men are kind of left by ourselves, right? And only way your life is valuable is if you have some European clothing on, or you have some European dollars with that has slave masters on it. That's the only way you're viable. Forget your life. You got to bring something to somebody, and that's selfishness. That's wicked. That's demonic. But during slave time, you had our foremothers. Some of them, they were still with us. They just watched us get beat up, get emasculated, and they still was respecting us, trying to lift us up. And they had marriages lasting. We ain't had no money. You see the difference today? We on something totally different. Well, that's Satan, and that's the Gentiles with the marketing, trying to tell you what's going on, and we're not working together. Oh, but back in Egypt, they was feeding the Hebrew babies to the alligators. You know, in the South in America, you know, here in the Americas, in the United States, they was feeding black babies. They call it gator bait. They call it gator bait. They used us to feed the gators. So there was no protection, no love for the children. But a bunch of our children died. Don't nobody even talk about that. They're trying to erase that in the museums and trying to erase that in history. That's what happened. We can't be liars. That's what happened. Look, they're using the same thing for the removal of discoloration, the toilet and bath soap. This is real companies, y'all. These were real legalized certified companies that was marketing and selling these products, racist stuff. Deuteronomy 28:44, he lends to you, but you do not lend to him. He's the head and you are the tail. Predatory lending against BYSA, FBA people in black communities because racism is economic. Racism is economic. White supremacy is satanic. That's why there's a problem. So you'll see, since racism is economic, it's a competition, you see the racism that happened towards Shadur Sanders because his black father, because look, he don't have to bow down and get on his knees to do whatever. So they was like, oh, you already got money. You already established, right? You already got confidence. So we want to break you down. See, everyone else, they come from a story where they had a fatherless home, where they coming for property. So they ready to, I don't want to say shuck and jive. They ready to do whatever, right? But in this situation, no, man, we know who we are. Everybody's afraid. Oh, we always talk about men and masculinity, but don't y'all see that black masculinity gets on the chopping block, it gets attacked? People are afraid of that. And you have our own family, we'll have our own people, sometimes, not all. They'll like fall in line and support the the execution of black masculinity. We got to be the yes master. We got to be so docile. Like, no, man. Yeah, it's crazy. Another, check and title loans, predatory lending against BYSA. But see, if you look at Deuteronomy 28, 1-14, that's what BYSA is trying to focus and major in, because that's how we want to be identified as B'nai Israel, where we tap into by Deuteronomy 28, 1-14. No longer just 15-68. Yearly, we'll go over this and remind people what's going on. But soon we can be like, yo, this is what happened to us. That's evident. But now we're going for the blessings, y'all. We're going to be the light, y'all, to ourselves, to our families. Now, Deuteronomy 28:48, you shall serve your enemies whom YHWH sends against you in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in need of all, right? From my understanding, that's us being the top consumers. And he shall put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. All right. Showing that we will need our oppressor for everything that we need, and we will become major consumers. The buying power of Black America. So we got buying power, but somehow we poor, because a house that's divided should not prosper. You got 42 million individuals that's doing their own thing, not a collective. The buying power of Black, and then this selfishness and this ego, and it's just a bunch of, it's lust, it's a bunch coveting. It's trying to prove something. It's something spiritually and psychologically wrong. We need help. And just being successful, going to school or having money, that doesn't cure. We have a problem. $3.3 billion per year on tobacco, $3 billion per year on alcohol, $29.3 billion on clothes, $19 billion on cell service, with 54% using smartphones, $9 billion a year on hair care. Who is owning businesses? 1 out of every 10 Asians, 1 out of every 35 white, 1 out of every 54 Hispanics, and 1 out of every 104 Black people. Right? This is not good. 1 out of 15 Black men are incarcerated, and there are over 250,000 Black on Black homicides. It's just not good, y'all. So when you're working a job, when we came over here, we was butt naked. We ain't had nothing. So we had to work. We worked on the slave fields. We worked to eat, to drink, and to have clothes, and in need of all other things, healthcare, all that stuff. So now we have to work all these hours. You shall serve your enemies whom YHWH sends against you. We got to work for food, clothing, thirst, shelter, health, and all that. But he shall put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. Wake up. Check this out. Black America have $1 trillion of spending power, right? Consumer buying power. Look at this. You have the media, corporate America, Asian businesses, hair care industry, banks, Hollywood, and it's many, many more. It's sucking the $1 trillion dry. And you see, The other pig on the side, I know it's a bad way, but you got to see black businesses. We're not getting none of the source that we come from. This is our baby, right? This is our parent. The $1 trillion, that's us. We can't even eat or drink from it because everybody else got us out of the way. We got to change that. It should be 10 of us and then one person on the side where our dollars bounce 20 to 30 times in our community. And then it should be one person. I don't know what the title should be. One person on the side that can get a little bit of some of that, if any. But we sleep. We got to wake up. Check this out. With a buying power of nearly $1 trillion annually, if African Americans were a country, they'll be the 16th largest country in the world. Do y'all see that? I mean, we would be over Turkey, Australia, Taiwan, Iran, and Poland. We would actually be over big countries. And we have skipped a bunch of most of the whole African continent, y'all. Not hating. I'm just saying. Most of the Middle East and the whole African continent, that's how big of spending power we got. That's why people be upset with us and jealous of us. But we got to say, hey, yo, we have this spending power. You cannot keep hating on us, being racist against us, being anti-black, calling us names, doing all these things, killing our people. You can't do that or you get no money. Look who's ahead of us. United States, China, Japan, India, Germany, Russia, United Kingdom, Brazil, France, Italy, Mexico, South Korea, Spain, Canada, Indonesia. I'm going to get into that later, but there a lot of these countries that's ahead of us was a lot of them that was included in the transatlantic slave holocaust and our offshoot nations of Rome, because it's really between Rome versus BYSA, Rome versus Israel. That's what it's all going to come down to. Now remember, put a yoke of iron on your neck, right? Until you have to storage you. As you see, the yoke of iron and the different things that was on our neck, on our mouth. You see the woman, she's posing with the stuff, how it looks, how it would look with that stuff on us. They did it to the kids. They did it to the men, to the kids, to the girls, to the women, to the elders. There was no love and no favor. Why is this happening? Because there's something that we did against the Creator. Deuteronomy 28:49. YHWH brings a nation against you from afar, from the Western Hemisphere, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies. So a nation from the end of the earth that represents the eagle, a nation whose language you should not understand. YHWH bring, So this goes, actually with Joel 3:6, that BYSA will be sold to the sons of YHWH, the Greeks. Right? So YHWH is the Greeks. So the sons of YHWH, if you look at Genesis 10:1-5, you have YHWH represents the Greeks, and one of the sons is Kidam, and that represents Roman, y'all. And the offshoot nation of Rome was Britain. That was one of them. And America, USA, is an offshoot of Britain. Hence the prophecy of us sold far from the borders. The eagle represents the United States. This is crazy, y'all. And look, y'all, I don't know if y'all really heard that. Y'all hearing it from me, UZZIYAHU from TZEDAKAH. He died in 2025. So just, going forward, you start hearing it, let it be known, like, yeah, man, UZZIYAHU, TZEDAKAH, he died, was bringing forth some stuff that was the different perspective. Because we're not finna let urban apologies, we're not finna let people get comfortable and try to make it seem that it's not us. It is us. And I'm going to tell you, since from 1619 to 2019, everybody wants to talk about 2019. After 2019, the world has not been at rest. It has been getting crazier and crazier and crazier since 2019. Right after that, the whole world stood still. But nobody acknowledged the 400-year anniversary. We know it's more than 400 years, but let's give them 1619. I like standing in the frame of 1619 to 2019 because it's more prophetic that way, even though we know they got more time on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. The world stood still. It was a worldwide plague where people were dying. A worldwide plague. George Floyd was killed. The whole world seen what was happening to BYSA. Come on, y'all. We can't play these games. It said all the places where you were given shame, I will give you a name of fame. Then the world found out that we was the Hebrews, the world. So come on. And then they seen persecution of us, the world. Stop playing, y'all. This goes with Joel 3:6. And I hope our people who have fallen off, because it's not a religion. BYSA is not a religion or a camp. We are a nation. BYSA TZEDAKAH Idah. That means TZEDAKAH means righteousness. Idah gathering. BYSA TZEDAKAH nation. BYSA TZEDAKAH people. BYSA TZEDAKAH community. Hey, yo, if this is hidden, if this open up your eyes, let's press subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000. Press like, make comments, share. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Let's start this community. BYSA TZEDAKAH Idah. Be set apart Kodesh for YHWH Elohim and set apart Kodesh. Let's keep going. We're almost done. Look at that. Look at the middle. You see all that? You see where they left from West Africa to South America, the islands, and to North America, right? YHWH shall bring a nation against you from afar, from the end of the earth. As swift as the eagle flies, the nation whose language you shall not understand. Who they talking about? They talking about us. They talking about us, y'all. Here's the conclusion. Here's the conclusion. Genesis 10, 1 through 5. Japheth is the father of the Gentiles, Europeans, and Indo-Europeans. Genesis 10, 1 through 5. Right? Genesis 10, 4. And the sons of Yawan, Elisha and Tarshish and Kiddim. There go to Kiddim and Dodanim, right? Japheth, father of the Gentile, right? So Japheth is first the father of the Gentiles, the Europeans, the white people, right? Yawan is the Greeks. Kiddim is the Romans. Kiddim is Romans. Kiddim Romans is one of the sons of Yawan, the Greeks. Remember, it's Christianity, Greco-Roman. And then you have Ashkenaz. The Ashkenazi Jews call and identify themselves as Ashkenazi European Jews. That's what they call themselves. They call themselves a European. We don't call, I'm just telling y'all, you know, what they call themselves. That's what they say. All right. Boom. Luke 21:20. Rome was the army that surrounded Jerusalem, right? So when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then know that it's laying waste there. All roads of white supremacy leads to Rome/Italy and Greece, Greco-Roman. Look, you see that? You see that picture? The siege of Jerusalem in 70 CE, the Romans destroyed the temple in Jerusalem and took BYSA a 7-branch candlestick menorah. So that's what we represent. We only represent that. We don't represent nothing else. Joel 3:6, look. Close the doors. No, close the doors. Joel 3:6. And the people of Yehuda and the people of Jerusalem. Sorry, y'all. You know, I like to joke too sometimes. All right, Joel 3:6. And the people of Yehuda and the people of Jerusalem, you have sold to the sons of Yawan to remove them far from their borders. You know what? When I tapped into Messiah, I was like, hey, yo, okay. So back in the day, a lot of people was they probably was just Torah only or Tanakh only. So of course they would use Deuteronomy 28. But hold on, us and Bri HaKadoshah, us and Messiah, the Messiah was a true prophet. He was the last prophet, right? Because after Revelation, there's nothing else. So he said something in Luke 21. And then you couple it with Joel 3. He said, you should be taken into captivity in all nations, and then Jerusalem shall be trodden down by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles is over. So we already know it's the Gentiles, it's the Japheth, it's the white people. Now we get more into more, you know, as we get more surgical, we get more meticulous. And the people of Yehuda and people of Jerusalem, that's what was stated in Luke 21, 20 through 24. Read it. You have been sold to the sons of Yawan. I'm like, yo, this hit me this year. I'm like, yo, I have not heard nobody teach this. This is me receiving this, you know, I believe from Yah. And this happened on my birthday when I turned 43. I was like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. If you listen to my mixtape, BYSA mixtape 1, I was like, Joel 3, you know, I spoke on this in my song. It's called Reintroduce Myself. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is UZZIYAHU, Malik. My people, B'nai Yisrael, Shemitic African. We're from Northeast Africa. I said, my invitation to the truth. The facts still remain. I'm a man of no reputation. I'm just trying to change the game. Got a little older, little wise in the brain, and we sip black seed and soursop to maintain. Got a confession. Got a confession. What'd I say? Got a confession. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. YAHOSHUA was the king since 2019. That done changed everything. 400-year anniversary. Nobody said a thing. Nobody said a thing. Genesis, the wars, plagues, everything. I reminisce. Revelation and prophecy. It seems. Look at Joel 3. It clears up everything. My black skin and kinky hair. Let freedom reign. Hey yo, I said this in my mixtape. Joel. I said Joel 3 sums up everything. My black skin and kinky hair. Let freedom reign. If Yah's with us, who can be against us? We not worried. Yo, I'm more accurately BYSA, B'nai Yisrael, Shemitic African, lifer. Don't call me black no more. My Israelite aesthetic. We Afro-Asiatic, Shemitic Hebrew. Don't forget it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Yeah, so Joel 3:6. And the people of Yehuda and the people of Jerusalem, you have sold to the sons of Yawan to remove them far from their borders, y'all. Come on, y'all. This goes with Joel 3. Come on, look at this. Now, let me tell you something. This is what hit me. This is where it's at. Rome fell in 476 AD. So the offshoot nations of Rome after the fall is Italy, Vatican City, San Marino, France, Portugal, Spain, Germany, United Kingdom, and Greece. Right? I mean, not Greece, but Greece is a part of this whole thing, right? So the offshoot nation of Rome sold the Yehuda bison to the transatlantic slave holocaust, Tosh, far from their borders to the Americas and the islands, especially the United States, being the offshoot of Britain, which leads back to Rome. What? If this is hitting you, subscribe, like, comment, share. If this is hitting you, we got work to do, y'all. The nations that participated in the transatlantic slave holocaust in 1619, but then some before that led to it, right? I'm talking about everything. You have Portugal, which is one of the offshoot nations of Rome. You got Spain, which is one of the offshoot nations of Rome. You have Britain, which is one of the offshoot nations of Rome. United Kingdom. You have France, which is one of the offshoot nations of Rome. You have Germany, which is one of the offshoot nations of Rome, and United States, which is a product of Britain, which is a product of United Kingdom, which is a product of Rome. So that makes sense. So remember, on the other part of the dollar, you have the eagle. The phoenix, the eagle. And then it says a nation from the far end of the earth as the eagle fly. Come on, y'all. If it's not us, then who else is it? You had the Arabs in the Indian Ocean slave trade, Islamic, the Arab Mohammedan slave trade. Then you had even some Jews, not all, some Jews, slave ship and slave owners that participated too. You had Christians, Muslims, and Jews that participated. You have people from different nations that participated. You even have Africans that participated too. Come on, y'all. Let's not play. I'm going to get into all that later. I just want you to primarily see, because the Africans, they were just focusing on what white supremacy was saying. That was the foundation, this right here. Boom. And then you have what? Deuteronomy 28:49. A nation against you. United States, the bald eagle, as swift as the eagle flies, coming against Israel, remember? As slaves. Torturing them, you know. So this is talking about the people, not just two countries, right? Because I know you have two countries that have agreements and stuff, but no, this is different. You got to look into that. This Israel that was loaded up on the slave ship, them. Now, you know, you even had, now let's just say, because let me give it the benefit of the doubt, you all, because remember, Israelites, we was taken to captivity to Asia, to Europe. So let's say we was taken to Europe and you say you're Yehuda, you Israel, and you participated in our slavery, you guilty too. That means you traded on your brothers. If you are Shemitic and you white and you look down on and you call us Cushy, y'all gonna deal with you. YHWH gonna deal with you. Because now you done use white supremacy to get at your brother. It's us. Y'all gonna get at you. You ain't gonna be able to hide against nothing. You ain't gonna be hide behind nothing. He gonna get at you for doing that. I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt. If you are Asian, if you are European, and let's say, because look, some of us was probably taken to different places. We might look a different way now. Let's just get the benefit of the doubt. So if that is you and you participated in this stuff, you're guilty too. You hating on your brother then, if that's the case. You're teaming up with white supremacy, what makes it prophetic. You're teaming up with Japheth then, which makes it prophetic. So if you are Shemitic, right, then you're teaming up with white supremacy. Then you became an enemy toward us. Y'all gonna deal with you. And look at this. Look at the name. The so-called black slave who they call Cushy, who they call nigga, our names. We had Yah in our names. Huh? And YHWH shall scatter you among all peoples, from one end of the earth to the other, and there you shall serve mighty ones. So all these different religions, all these different things, that's the product. Now, here is the end thing, right? Let's look at this. 2 Chronicles 7:14, and my people upon whom my name is called shall my people upon whom my name is called. I'm reading this as you look at a portion of the names, that we had Hebrew. Look at some of these ages: 7 years old, 10 years old, 9 years old, 13 years old, 18 years old, 12 years old, male and female 25. I'm getting chills, 38. Come on, y'all. And they're giving you the ship name. They're giving you the year. And my people, upon whom my name is called, BYSA, B'nai Israel, I'm getting chills, y'all, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked, satanic, evil, white supremacists trying to follow them ways. Then I shall hear from the heavens and forgive their sin and heal their land. Exodus 3:15. And Elohim said further to Moshe, thus you are to say to B'nai Israel, to the children of Israel, Yahweh, Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, the Elohim of Yaakov, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my remembrance to all generations. Huh? Psalm 68:4, sing to Elohim, sing praises to his name, rise up a highway for him who rides through the desert by his name Jah, or by his name Yah, and extol before him. Hallelujah. Hallelujah means praise Yah. Jeremiah, Isaiah, Zephaniah. Let's read some of these names. Akaya, Adimya, Adaya, Adaya. You see, that's just some of the A names. Come on, y'all. If not us, then who is it talking about? Who they talking about? They talking about us. Here's the summary. Hey, yo, if this is hitting you, man, show love, man. And let people know, like, man, yo, BYSA TZEDAKAH died, man. They brought forth some stuff. Share it with your family, man. They brought forth some stuff. And I know this is a long video. This is my last one. I'm going to do probably a summary of these things, and then I'm going to do, like, I think 40 points concerning, try to make it a little bit quicker, but I want us to just go through the journey. We just taking our time and going through this journey. So this sets the 1 through 8. That's what that's for. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna do a quick summary, a quick summary conclusion video. And I'm gonna do the 40 points that times of the Gentiles, the white supremacy. I can just get boom, boom. I can just get right to it. So those are the 2 videos I'm gonna do after this. You know what I'm saying? And let's get this up to 1,000. That's my next milestone. But all praises to Yah. And I appreciate those who were sticking with me, supporting me. So you're going to have to drink some water. Let's do it. All right. Already went over the 7 sets of scriptures for the time of the Gentiles, white supremacy. So actually, I didn't even need to use Deuteronomy 28. It's the icing on the cake because it has already been established from the mouth of YAHOSHUA HaMashiach in Luke 21, 20-24, the prophet, the last prophet to be exact. Then it was also established in Prophet Joel 3, 1-8, especially Joel 3:6, when it states that Yehuda and Jerusalem was sold to the sons of Yawan, which is Kittim, the Romans. Deuteronomy is from the Torah, from the witness of Moses. And this is a extra, but not foundational for me or for BYSA, because we are messianic. We stand with YAHOSHUA. That's the foundation. The foundational scripture we stand on is Luke 21, 20-24. Then coupled with Joel 3, 1-8. And then Genesis 10, 1-5. That's the foundation. And then the icing on the cake is Deuteronomy 28. I will mention 2 verses from Deuteronomy 28. The 2 verses are Deuteronomy 28, 64 and Deuteronomy 28, 68. Deuteronomy 28, 64. We will focus on, and Yahweh will scatter you among all peoples from one end of the earth to the other. This is speaking about a worldwide scattering and captivity amongst all people from the 4 corners of the earth and one end of the earth to the other, western and eastern hemisphere, right? Come on, y'all. The exile in 70 AD by the Romans in Jerusalem. Then the Arab Islamic Indian Ocean Holocaust, IOSH. Right? And then the transatlantic slave Holocaust, TASH. Deuteronomy 28, 68. We will focus on, and there you shall be sold to your enemies as male as female slaves, but no one to buy you, no one to redeem you, right? No one to save you. So if I cost 300, my wife costs 200, and my kids cost 100 each, I didn't have money to buy our freedom. And even if I did, they'd be like, oh man, he gonna buy our freedom, raise the price up to 1,000 each. And I still would have not been able to do it myself. You see what I'm saying? And no one else would have been able to buy it, because they would probably set the price so they can really do what they wanted to do to us. So the economy of this nation was based upon and kicked off and started upon our demise. The worldwide slavery and captivity of BYSA B'nai Israel, and the buying and selling of BYSA B'nai Israel, and the slave masters, slave ships, slave ports, and slave auctions, all being done and performed by the descendants of Japheth, Gentiles, Romans, white people, and they hired some Africans and some people like that. All of these horrors are being done to B'nai Israel, BYSA, Hebrews, black people, etc. I hope this opens everyone's eyes to see clearer and understand the big picture concerning the scriptures and prophecy. I hope so. Right? Hey, yo, I know this was an hour, but I'm glad. Hey, for those who are stuck with me to the end, yo, thank you for watching. Subscribe, man. You know, be set apart, Kodesh, for YHWH, your Elohim, and set apart. I'm so excited. I'm rebranding everything. I'm restarting over with everything. This was the one I waited for a while because I wanted sets 1-7 to be set by itself, because 7 is perfection, right? And then so that can be established, and then boom, then we do this right here. All right, man. May y'all bless you, may y'all keep you, may he shine his face upon you and give you peace. Shalom, shalom. I love y'all. Hey, I pray y'all blessing upon you all. Keep us in prayer. And yo, it's time, y'all. So I want people to let me know, yo, it's BYSA TZEDAKAH. We got work to do. So we got righteous work to do. So let me know who's ready to do that, because I got a bunch of ideas. I got a bunch of strategies. Like, let's get to it. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to be no hater on nobody. We just love ourselves and love our God. You know what I'm saying? We love our neighbors. We love ourselves. And for those of the nation who is trying to serve Yah, you know, we got something for you too. It's not all hope is not lost. Isaiah 56, 1-8 and Revelation 7:9. They've been Shem Yahushua. Hallelujah. Shalom, shalom. Yes, I pray, I believe in Yahweh, Elohim, and YAHOSHUA is King. Yes, I pray, 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 I pray 5 times a day, 5 times a day. Yeah. I'm Afro-Asiatic, yeah. Hebrew Israelite, Shemitic, man, she's Afro-Asiatic. I'm Afro-Asiatic, yeah. Southern, I am Central, but we still have descent. Yo.